Hello and welcome to another PlainTalkJon Reviews The Polls. We got 7 polls. We're kicking it off here. It's going to be great. A couple of them came out before the Harvest of Sorrow came out. The rest came out afterwards. And let's jump right in. Starting off with the monster cards for Gwent's newest expansion, Harvest of Sorrow, have been fully revealed. How do you feel about them? And so we got a nice little bell curve. I love them too. I hate them. Most people seem to be a little bit warm on them though. More liking than hating, more loving than hating. What do we got? First comment here. Worst reveals in the expansion, probably. They look borderline unplayable, except for that one that can be good if your opponent doesn't have removal. We'll see if they work in an actual game. Or we'll see in the actual game if they work or not. Yeah, I mean, the monster cards I don't think were as big of a splash. Let me pop over and just refresh myself. It is Incubus. I do think Lesser Witch was a dangerous card. I'm not sure I'm fully on board with all of that. I think the Lesser Witch is very good if Relics comes back. Incubus is better than I expected. Oh, actually, Witch's Sabbath too. Witch's Sabbath is dangerous. I don't know if I agree with this comment. I think Witch's Sabbath is a really dangerous card, very punishing card against certain decks. They'll keep coming back. And I think they're putting their faith in Yaga, and I put my faith in the other cards, to be honest. Let's see, Gustavo, the exact opposite one. They look amazing to me with interactions that monsters hasn't had before. Your graveyard will be as important as your hand or deck, even more so than before. Gustavo, who I think has the right read here, I like the graveyard interactions. I think that's a key thing. I think that's a great new territory for monsters to explore or go further into beyond just like ghouls and Ozreal. And I hope they keep going for both your graveyard and your opponent's graveyard. On to the next question and catching up here with the chat. Farcross, you're welcome for the alumni deck. I'm glad you got the pro. Got some, we're in the past. Let's see, yeah, we are in the past. We're working our way up, working our way forward. So next, I was curious about how to spoil cards, because I've seen all kinds of people spoil cards different ways. Some people put a lot of effort, some people kind of lazy. So I wanted to see what people thought about the YouTube side of things, which is when you see a Gwent creator spoil a new card in a YouTube video, do you watch the video? You watch a video from a YouTube creator you like, you skip ahead to find the card or other. And then so honestly for me, I will confess, I'm a skip ahead person. Even if I like the creator, I skip ahead. I'm like, I want to know what the card is. I want nothing else besides that. Let's see. Honestly, more people just watch the video than I'm expecting, particularly for smaller creators, because a lot of small creators get the card spoils and how they design it right now, how CDBR is handing them out. And it does look like it's bringing in a lot of traffic. Hundreds of people are watching videos, regardless of how good or bad, from all kinds of creators. So there is a lot of value for Gwent creators to actually spend time making it. Looking at the content, okay, but can we talk about how Mr. Habla one's card reveal is the most precious thing ever, and it's literally a sin not to watch it? Because of these kind of comments, I actually went back, and I think you guys, the Twitch fam also pushed me to, went back and watched the full Habla reveal. It was great. 10 out of 10. It was beautiful. Let's see. Subium, and the only creator I like is you. Aw. Warm in my soul. Warm in my soul. That's the kind of flattery that goes straight to the heart. Yvonne, the space biker, coming in with, jump onto the Gwent Discord and read the revealed cards at my own pace. Take your time. Savor it. I respect it. I respect it. Next one. Now that we're at the end of patch 9.3, will you miss it? No, but I like the patch. It was really popular. I'm surprised. But also no, and I dislike the patch for a third of respondents. Probably wasn't necessarily a good thing. I don't really have context if this was a success or not. I think the one quick takeaway is people are happy to see the patch move forward and changes occur, whether they liked it or not. Change is good for the game, and this, in my eyes, is how I read it. If you have, even for the people who liked and disliked it, they want the change. They're looking forward to it. Change is good. CalcuFactor, family member on both sides here, YouTube and Twitch. Out of every season of Price of Power so far, this has been the meta where I've had the most success on the ladder without having to resort to playing the strongest decks. I usually play homebrews up to rank 1 and get stuck to playing Line Prockets of Pro. This month I got the 3 to Pro of nothing but Jackpot, Salamander, Succubus, and Devotion, Nature's Gift. It was glorious, and I think the new cards look like they'll make for a fun new meta, and I'm looking forward to seeing what can brew with them. Nice. Sounds like a great success, a lot of brewing, and then moving forward. And then Glenn, I like just like how they balanced the 2 most used decks with the patch. I'm looking at you, Tunnel Drilling Gourd. I think we all like that. People are excited about this patch. People were looking ahead, liking the new cards, and liking the direction. For a quick one, I don't know. let's check out the comments. Next one. Today is when Harvest of Sorrow and patch 9.4 release. Are you playing today? And the answer is yes. There's a huge surge of players that play on the day. Mr. Perfection just updated the game. Can't wait to see the new reward trees and play it with SK. And Rivaldi, John, help. My head hurts. This patch will make the game complex, especially Nilfgaard. Yes, the game's getting more complex. I would say that's a fair read on it, Rivaldi. As well, and Mr. Perfection getting excited. People are excited. The game's getting more complex. I don't know, I'm really happy. It's the kind of stuff I like. Onward. Day one feelings towards patch 9.4. What are your day one feelings towards it? Most people are really happy with it. Over almost 60% of people say they like it or love it. And only over 85% of people are on the it's fine, like it, or love it on just day one. That's a wonderful thing. Most people embrace the change. Most people like the patch. It's grand. Getting some comments. Lined pockets and gourd were greedy stuff, but Messenger of the Sea and the whole SK range package is on another level, especially with Ryogen. Absolutely insane point swings. We'll see. I think obviously that's quickly aging out fast, but on day one, people figured out SK weather very fast. Kevin DHM. It's always bittersweet when the game changes and you need meaningful rework or abandon your decks that did well for so long. And a bit of that too, right? Hey, people seem to like change, but there is something where you have to delete all your decks and adjust things. There is some bittersweetness to it. Next one. Which mini expansion do you like the most from a card design perspective? Overwhelmingly Harvest of Sorrow, and I agree. I think it's the best of the three. I think because the card, it didn't depend on the other expansions as much. It felt like a complete drop of cards. That to me, it was much better. Kevin DHM, you once again are a top comment. Playing Monsters, who was the early beneficiary and thus an early nerf target, has been a bummer. Some sour grapes are going on watching the 250, 300 point weather mage decks. Were they either intended to be sequential release or done all at once? Maybe Monsters wouldn't have needed to be squeezed as hard. Right. Bloody Mistress, Mamuna, victims of maybe being ahead of their time. And then when everything came out, boom, all of a sudden Monsters on the back foot. We're looking like Kelly or bust kind of meta coming. You know, Kevin, that's a good insight. I like it. And Garzag, honestly, the main problem I had with the first two expansions is they're clearly just pieces of the final package. Now that we have even more Skellige weather cards, the deck is insanely strong. Whereas only price power, the deck barely even function. I like the new 3-month cycle. But at the same time, the card designs shouldn't need the next expansion to release before a viable archetype with them exists. Good news is CDPR has at least casually confirmed on my stream. One of the members came by, we're chatting, that this was something that they realize is a problem and going to address in the future. When they do a card drop, they're going to be more contained and they're not going to be dependent on other card drops. So if you are saying, wow, this last one is really good because of that, more ahead and much more, not even as built like a 3 set necessarily. I don't know if they'll go just 1 set, how they're going to do it, but they have realized that like Once Upon a Pyre and then they need coup relating so heavily and depending so heavily on each other, not good. They're going to avoid in the future. Be optimistic. Time to do some. I thought I would get a hot take. Here, and I should catch up on the chat here. People acting as line pockets need Trundle Drill to win constantly win games, except Brominator kind of feels like they did. I think Tunnel Drill was a key part of how line pockets won. Look forward to being future expansions planned as a 3-parter. Yeah, I don't think there's no more 3. I don't think it has to be 3 parts, but they're not going to be interconnected, not nearly as heavy if they decide to do a 3-part. I think they're going to very much, they've realized CDPR view them as a set, their own meal. This is my breakfast, this is my lunch, this is my dinner. They're disconnected. If they do it 3, they might do them 2. They might each say, you know, we just need them as 1. It doesn't matter. You're not going to connect it in like a big block. It's all good. You can do it at whatever size you need. Anyways, prediction time. I decided to force the YouTube fam to make a hot take. What do you think the strongest faction will be for Gwent patch 9.4? Northern Realms and Skellige to an early lead. Nilfgaard third. Scoia'tael near the bottom. And Monsters and Syndicate lumped together getting 9%. I can only put 5 in a poll, so forgive me. I'm ended up top comment. Hey, Kevin, you're once again. Look at all these comments, guys. Gotta put out some stuff for us. Kevin's gonna keep dominating these videos. Nilfgaard might not have the strongest sequences, but they often have the greatest number of effective responses. I think they will largely float on or near top, pushing against Northern Realms, like SK maybe. I agree. I think you have a good read on the meta. I think Skellige has enough damage to help rein in Northern Realms, and Nilfgaard has the next most interactive tools, and interaction is what punishes Northern Realms in their greedy style. Let's see. Tetsuo. Hard to say after 3 days after the patch produced incredibly interesting decks, and that's how it should be. I agree. Gwent's also moving in a complex direction, so the decks will keep being interesting. Keep having more pieces going on. It'll be good. Nilfgaard greatly suffers if SK is popular. Yep, we're just dominating. We just crushed the Nilfgaard deck earlier with SK. So I agree, Brominator. We'll see how these three come out. I think Scoia'tael deserves more rep. Monsters, I think, will struggle, and Syndicate's looking like it struggles. I think Syndicate is getting more and more interesting tools, though, in time. Line Pockets is very strong. It's still a very strong leader ability. I don't know if it'll struggle or get up. I think people are sleeping on Scoia'tael. I think a Scoia'tael mid-range nature control deck is very good. I guess Point Slam is correct in this game, not mid-range. Point Slam-ish nature control. Surprisingly effective when I was playing it. I think Scoia'tael is being slept on. I think they'll have a good representation in the meta. I think Skellige and Nilfgaard may really reign in Northern Realms. Because Northern Realms is so greedy that everyone's just building decks to punish greed, and there are a lot of tools in Gwent these days. And also, last but not least, it's out today. I posted it. I decided to force the YouTube fam. And if you commented in the past 2 hours since this poll is live, you might be top comment. Let's see where we're at. We got some stirring up here. How powerful is Ryogen? The card, let's see. Most people think it's powerful. Over 50% of people think it's powerful or very powerful. Actually, 2/3 of people think it's powerful or very powerful. A quarter think it's average, and then just under 10% think it's weak. That's insane. Funny didn't laugh. This card is basically asked, do you have Squirrel Xavier in hand? If the answer is no, that's going to hurt a lot. Suga, he's okay. There's so many ways to deal with him that have been introduced to this expansion, like Witch of Sabbath, Bleeding Effigy, Vilgefortz, Syndicate, Xavier, Squirrels for the rest. Yeah, I mean, you can keep putting my vote down here. You know my hot take on it. Mine as well, guys. I just, like, why would I waste my time resurrecting Ryogen? I can bring back Melusine, Arnagad. Borkvarg, why would I waste my time with him when I can bring back a Great Sword and just slowly build it back up? A Messenger of the Sea. I don't know. I feel like it's a very much greedy card, and in a meta where things are moving towards punishing Graveyard. Xavier's popular, Squirrel's popular. I'm not buying it. But keep disagreeing with me. We'll see how this age. Note that my vote's weak and very weak. And that's it. I felt very efficient. I hope I wasn't too efficient, but I had a good time. All right, guys. YouTube fam, first, let's start there. YouTube fam, I love all of you. I hope you keep participating, and I look forward to seeing what else, learn a little bit more about you next week. And Twitch fam, what I want to say is say goodbye to the YouTube fam. Thin your deck by 1. It's a powerful tool. I don't know. Skellige's never had problems with deck thinning. They literally have one of the most efficient packages with the discards and the crows in the game. Which is pretty intense. Say goodbye to the YouTube fam. I love every one of you. Take care. I'll see you next week. At least for the poll review. See you probably tomorrow for the videos, if not in a few hours. Shout out to Pseudonym81, Ahmed Ali, and McRandar for their unbelievably generous support on Patreon.